Here's an overview of the new release that's just been put out. So we ran through this with our partners a few days ago. And for those who were unable to attend, here's a quick overview of what we discussed. So the agenda, main part is the new release that we've recently put out, a demonstration of that, as well as some more back-end capability that we've now built out to just improve the overall experience. So training and implementation of, especially around new suppliers, or if you're adjusting your MSP billing in 2022. Some automation around forwarding any supplier report or invoice to us. And likewise, a little bit to expect in the next month. So in terms of the best bits have just come out, we'll go through the input dashboard. And then as we go into a single reconciliation, just more insights that we're looking to provide to address some problems that can arise in terms of expiring or expired contracts and the risk of misbilling. So if we come across the inputs view here, has a list of any of the suppliers that you choose to reconcile via Cloud Olive. And one of the really cool things here is because we recognize month on month what is getting reconciled as we come into, or we're in January now, as you can see here, but as we come into February on Feb 1st, it actually automatically creates all the different inputs as a shell. So all we now need to add in is the file, the amount in terms of the cost, and the number of line items that we're going to reconcile. And that's it. The rest of it is now just sitting there. We've also added in the status and an approval kind of indication. So when multiple people are doing this process in an MSP, anyone can have oversight really, really quickly at a glance. And the information that we're elevating across any of the suppliers here is the margin, the number of line items getting reconciled, and if there is any that are actually unreconciled, where we're over or under billing clients in terms of the actual amount, as well as the number of line items that actually have errors on there. And then with the concept of past or hidden lines, so if there's internal use licenses or just items that either you want to hide now but see next month, we can pass them. And if they're hidden, they're just indefinitely not going to show in your dashboard. You can always retrieve them, but we just wanted to elevate this information. A few other items that we've also added in, we've added in a live link concept. So if you add in a URL at the input level per vendor, if you store your files perhaps in Dropbox or in some other online directory, or you want it to bounce directly into a portal to download the information, then you can kind of pick and choose whatever you want. As well as comments at the top. So you may have unreconciled line items, but it's still been moved to an approved status. So here we can just add in a comment and say you haven't kind of drill into it too far. But if I come across to dive into one of the reconciliations, so we've got Microsoft here. The information that we were just reviewing in the gray a second ago was essentially what's up here. Okay, so the other piece that we've recently added in is we're finding more and more partners using Cloud Olive to reconcile just units. So it might be that running specific reports where you have fairly bespoke billing arrangements via your PSA, then we can just toggle this here and it just focuses in on the numbers themselves. And if we add this back, then you've got all the buy and the sell price that we're kind of bookending and giving you the margin of. We'll now begin identifying if a contract is about to expire in the next 30 days. We'll put an expiring tab, happening in the future. And then likewise down here, if something has expired, then we're giving you those alerts at this point. You'll notice this warning sign here. This is a net new feature that's going to come out next month, and I'll show you exactly what that is in a second. We've also added in a new global dashboard, and this is driving a lot of the information out of the PSA itself. So active contracts and giving you the quantum of accounts that are sitting there. What we think is really helpful though is just seeing the largest variations that have shifted in the prior month, and if there's anything that looks untoward, obviously you can jump in there and review that, as well as over here the major costs and whether they're trending up or down. So in terms of training and additional kind of implementation around any new suppliers, so we've reviewed the way in which we are implementing each supplier that either new partners or our partners are bringing on, and we try and elevate this into understand the nuances that don't fit a one-to-one. So if it is a one-to-one, really, really simple, but if you're having to group things in different ways, or you potentially need to split one line item into many, and we can kind of just see them up front and we can configure them into our system. And for any partner, just really wide open, calendly.com Cloud Olive, and you can book into to catch up at any point. Okay, so completely optional, but we can set you up with a cloudolive.com email and have you forward everything to us, any of the suppliers that you're working with, and just simply wait for an alert. And likewise, you'll get a brief summary of any discrepancies or errors or items that don't link up perfectly based on the parameters that you put in place. Ideally, just really improving the user experience and simplicity of it, and saving everyone time. In terms of what we're focusing on to deliver in the next between 2 to 4 weeks, so very imminent now, the warning sign, we will begin displaying what's actually dropped off from the vendor month on month. So if you're buying it last month and not, you're no longer getting charged for it this month, we'll begin giving you alerts of that. And also then linking back in to see if you're still over billing or still billing that to a client, and you can make a call on that. Secondly, only one we don't actually have actually built into the product, just it's still in wireframe, but again, looking to be released early February, is dynamic live reports. So we'll pull the information directly from the PSA and house everything to do with recurring service contracts, services, units, etc. Via the search parameters at the top across accounts, contracts, and services. You can then do multiple accounts at once if you wish, or multiple services. And the way we think is going to be really helpful and dynamic is down the base, we continually do tallies of them and give you a summary of exactly what's going on. So this stems from when we're implementing partners, and we ask them, say, how many of this service do you think you've got? How many services of this? And it's really, although it's accessible to get that information, it often takes time between dashboards, widgets, or live reports out of the PSA. So we just want to elevate that information, and also the ability to make adjustments back into the PSA directly from Cloud Olive as well, should you need to. Finally, as we talked about, the starting point of the global dashboard, that we will continually merge supplier information as well as coming from the PSA, and just take feedback on from our partners exactly what you need to see to be able to act on from that screen. We do have a referral program, so if you've got anyone that you believe that could benefit from Cloud Olive, we're looking to provide a $500 either gift card to yourself, to the company, or a portion of or all of it to a charity of your choosing, should you refer someone and they sign up before the end of March 2022. And as always, we always value any feedback. And likewise, if there's anybody on here who wishes to either have a little bit more training or provide some feedback, just ping me on adam@cloudolive.com. Many thanks.